What's up, everybody? So let's talk about Chad OchoCinco Johnson and Keith Lee. So y'all know that Keith Lee shooketh Atlanta and left Atlanta in shambles when he was on his food tour, and he critiqued certain restaurants in Atlanta. So if you are from Georgia and if you have frequented some of the restaurants in Atlanta like I have, then you already know that some of these restaurants lines are super long, the food is mediocre, and the customer service is not all that good. And so Keith basically exposed some of these Atlanta restaurants on how they operate and things like that. So y'all had the owner of the Real Milk and Honey respond in like a shady way. Then you had Candy Burris respond about the old lady gang. And so everybody's been talking about Keith Lee. Keith Lee has a big following. He has over 14 million followers on TikTok. So he has a big influence, but he has brought a lot of business to businesses that were lacking, that did not have a lot of people coming to them. When he did his critique on their restaurant, they got so much business after that. And not all of his reviews are going to be positive reviews. You're not going to go to every place and find that the food is good every place you go to. I've gone to several different places like, girl, no, this was mediocre at best. So he has good reviews and he has bad reviews, but the bad reviews, he's not bashing them, he's not downing them, nothing like that. He doesn't encourage the people to go and leave negative reviews or anything like that. A lot of people have been talking about Keith Lee. Listen, it ain't no Keith Lee slander over here, okay? I've been watching Keith Lee for a long time. Keith Lee is really, really a nice guy. He's humble and he leaves fair reviews. And so a lot of people have been talking about him. And Shannon Sharp and Chad OchoCinco Johnson were on a podcast, and Shannon basically asked Chad, had he heard about Keith? And Chad goes into this diatribe about Keith, and y'all can really tell that Chad had not done his research on Keith, because had he done his research on Keith, he would not have said the things that he said. Like, he went on to this full-blown diatribe, basically saying that Keith should not have gave any negative reviews. He should have just gotten the food and dealt with what he got with. Like, no, just because you go to a restaurant and you have like a big following does not mean that you settle for what they give you. You're not gonna settle for no cold food. You're not gonna settle for something that you don't like. If it's not to your liking, you're not gonna settle for that. You're gonna take it back. And so Chad was like, even if I go to a restaurant, I'll keep the food, even if it's something that I don't like, and I'll still tip. That's on you, sir. Everybody's not going to do that. And so Chad, he was, honey, let me tell y'all, he was going on so awful. It was crazy. And Shannon was like, hold up now. Hold up. Just because you go to a restaurant does not mean that you have to take the bad customer service, the bad food, or whatever. Like, if you're going to pay your money, you need to get the service that you deserve. You need to get the food that you want. So let's look at this podcast where Shannon and Chad were talking. Now, it's very long, so y'all get y'all snacks and let's watch it.
Do you know who Keith Lee is?
Man, I listen. I heard
TikTok
about,
food critic.
I heard about what he doing, man. Like, come on.
Check this out,
bro.
Okay, let me give people a backdrop.
Come on, bro.
Keith Lee is a TikTok food critic. He accidentally caused chaos in the Atlanta restaurant scene. In the videos, which have been viewed over 95 million times, Lee said multiple restaurants he had a hard time ordering ahead. So he tried to order food in advance. They said, no, we're not doing that. He said experienced poor customer service, or his family initially was turned away only to be offered a table once they realized they were with him. Restaurants have received death threats. Cardi B talked about Lee's food tour videos. IG. I feel like Atlanta restaurants they don't like to make money. She said, describing how difficult it is for her to order food in the city without having to mention her name. I don't know how often you've been to Atlanta, but the Atlanta food scene, we unique because a lot of times it's all about dressing up, and it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hour wait time. A lot of times, Ocho, you got to eat a meal before you actually go to the restaurant because you're gonna be hungry damn again before you actually get in the restaurant. So right. It's perfect. And look, I don't want people to think what's going on is unique to Atlanta and black restaurants. Normally, Ocho, you know this from being a professional athlete. We get privileges sometimes at the restaurant, and sometimes we get to get things that normal people don't get. It happens.
I don't like it.
Ocho, so you've never gotten the table because you OchoCinco.
I'm not talking about that. Yeah. And when they do, I mean, you know me, you know how I move, and everybody in this chat knows how I move when I go to restaurants. If you seat me first, you understand what's coming at the end when it's time to tip. I've been doing that 20-some years.
Okay, but
I don't like the fact of what he's doing.
Ocho,
I don't like it. I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses and Ocho, like dude, you know how hard it is
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant and so.
Ocho,
like, what are we doing?
Don't ask me to come to your house and then ask me what I think about it without asking me to give you my honest opinion.
Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that.
A lot of these people, listen, a lot of these restaurants do DM him, ask him to come. But he wants to go on, a lot of times he wants to go unannounced and give people, that's what he is. He's a food critic. He's turned himself into a food critic. It's okay.
Are we turning himself into resume? What are the qualifications of being a food critic?
Go to a restaurant and do you like the food? Did you like the customer service? What was it like? Yes. What was the wait time like? That's all you got to do.
How about go do that at Maestro's? Go do that shit at Chris Ruth. Go do it at Poppy Steak. Go do it at fucking Zuma. Go do it at goddamn whatever the fucking rest of them goddamn 5-star restaurants that everybody. Go do it at that. Name one of the restaurants you go to in LA. Name one. Where you and Selena Gomez went? Where y'all went? What's the name of the restaurant y'all went to?
I don't forgot now.
You know.
I honestly forgot because I have never been there before.
Go do it at they restaurants and give them the bad press and all the bad.
Ocho. Because you're black doesn't mean you're above criticism.
I'm not saying you're above anything, but go do it there. It's hard enough for us as it is. Now here you go.
So in other words, if he got bad service, he's supposed to just let that slide.
Service wasn't bad. Service wasn't bad. Service because it wasn't. It wasn't. I ain't never had bad service. And even if the service was bad, they might be having a bad day because some of the goddamn idiots they don't have to deal with.
Ocho, honestly, in the customer service business, you can't have a bad day. Because think about what you just said. Customer service.
Do you know what it's like dealing with some of these people?
You shouldn't get in that business. Do not get into the customer service business if you can be easily perturbed by having a bad day.
But sometimes you need a job. And sometimes that job, being customer service and being in the food industry, is all you can do.
Ocho, I know me. I can't be in the customer service business because I'm easily irritated. I don't like I ordered this and they mess up the order. Okay, I get that, Ocho, but you have to understand people are paying their hard-earned money. So I have the right. If I like the service, I'm going to say I like the service. Now me, I don't go, look, Ocho, you know what? In this business, what I've been in, Ocho, I've been very fortunate. I've met a lot of high-profile people.
Yeah.
And one of the first things people ask me is what he or she is like. And you know what I tell them? I can only tell you through my experience. I don't know what they'll be like to you. I don't know what they're like to him. I don't know what they're like to someone else. I can just tell you what they're like to me. When I go to a restaurant, my experience at that restaurant might be different than yours. It might be different than Jordan's. It might be different than Malika's. But I can just tell you from my experience, it was unbelievable. Or no, it wasn't very good. The people weren't courteous. The service was lacking. The food was cold. It took me a long time to get seated. It took me a long time for the server to come back and take my order. That's my experience. Right. You might go there and have a totally different experience.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Okay.
I like to leave my mark on all restaurants I go to, regardless of what it is. I am more about being the positive influence, and when I leave those places and leaving my mark, and I don't want my mark to be that of what Brother Keith Lee is doing. Listen, I salute him to what he's doing and trying to let the people know about restaurants in Atlanta. The restaurants that I've been in Atlanta, that I've been to, have been just fine.
Ocho, but you do realize a lot of times, people have said their restaurant has been saved because he's giving them a positive critique. Huh? A lot of the restaurants said they have been able to remain in business because of the positive critique. So now, again, like I said, I don't have a problem tipping. A lot of times when I leave my room, I left money on the table today. I said, ma'am, I was at the table last night and I didn't get an opportunity to throw the stuff in the trash. I said, I left money on the table. It's yours if you clean it up. It might not have been her room, but I bet you went and then got that stuff off that table and threw it away.
I got you.
I'm a service type of guy.
I'm just telling you.
Keep the ginger ale flowing. Right. You keep the ginger ale flowing, your boy gonna break you off real nice.
I'm just telling you how I am. Okay. I'm telling you how I am, how I understand what the people in the service industry have to go through. I understand the personalities, the people that they have to deal with time and time again for hours and hours at a time, stand on your feet, ordering, dealing with different
personalities. You chose that job.
Listen to me, and I can empathize with them, even though they chose that job. Maybe that's the only opportunity they have to make money. So I understand that. So I don't go in there. I never send food back. I don't care about the food being goddamn cold. I'm going to make your day at your job as easy as possible when I enter your establishment, as easy as possible, and I'm gonna leave your ass with a motherfucking blessing, because they no telling what the fuck you had to go through before I got here. And that's just how I move. That's just how I move. I'm not leaving no fucking bad critiques and talking shit about your place. I'm going to make sure when I leave there, I'm going to leave there for blessing and I'm gone. That's just me. What he's doing, that's cool. That's fine. And, you know, more power to him and more power to those that it's affecting in a positive or negative way. That's just me.
You feeling some type of way about that?
I mean, that's just me. I'm thinking from a business standpoint, how fucking hard it is for people to fucking build. Just, man, that's fucking bullshit, man.
I tell you what, you open a restaurant, I'm bringing roaches and rats with me.
That's fine. That's fine.
I said, man, hey, I'm gonna have my camera lady. Oh, dropping lady. Hey, look at this right here. Look at that big old one right there.
Now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how that shit really affecting people's restaurants out there, man, in Black Hollywood, man. Cause now that you done, now I'm really allowing it to sink in. Like that's. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm finna follow up. I'm going to be a motherfucking food critic in Atlanta. I'm going to be a food critic. I'm finna go to I'm going to every restaurant in Atlanta, and I'm leaving a $5,000 tip. And I'm gonna tell them these motherfucking restaurants was perfect, and the service was phenomenal. Just to overshadow that fucking shit, bullshit. Talk about restaurants.
You do realize a food critic, they go all around the United States. They just
don't do Atlanta. Gordon Ramsay is the only food critic I know.
Ocho, you see?
That's what he does.
Now you're doing what athletes do.
That's what he does.
What's your correct? Hold on.
That's what he does.
Greg, but here's the thing, Ocho. You can't say because someone doesn't have a culinary background.
So what makes you a goddamn food critic? Oh, because you have a platform? Because you got social media? So now you attach a name to yourself. Now you
everybody is not a classical. Everybody is not a Michelin star chef. Everybody is not a 5-star chef. And that's
what qualifies you to be a food critic where everybody in the world has to listen to what you have to say about?
They don't have to. They don't have to. He ain't forced nobody to listen to his TikTok. He ain't forced nobody to listen to what he got to say. He said, go try it for yourself. He said, that's his experience. You might have a totally different experience, Ocho.
You know what? If you have a large platform of that magnitude, you shouldn't be saying nothing bad. You should be praising all motherfucking restaurants.
Nah, hell no. No, you and I gonna disagree with that one. Just because I got a platform, that don't mean I have...
restaurants to help their motherfucking business.
Ocho, Ocho, my thing is,
I'm telling you how I am.
Yeah.
I have nothing against what he's doing. I'm just telling you.
Yes, you do. You just said it's bullshit. What you mean you thinking of?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
You just said you didn't have anything against it. What do you do? So hold on, time out.
That's how I feel.
Either I'm losing my damn mind or I'm dumb.
Honey, y'all heard what Ocho Rios. Hold on, what the hell? Listen, I'm thinking about Jamaica, okay? Because I need another vacation. I need to go back to Jamaica. OchoCinco, not Ocho Rios. Lord have mercy. But anyway, did y'all hear what OchoCinco Chad said? Listen, he was just talking out the side of his neck. He did not do any kind of research on Keith Lee, because if he had, then he'd know that Keith Lee is very positive. And I agreed with everything that Shannon was saying, because he really, really made a lot of sense in what he was saying, not Chad, okay? And so Keith Lee did respond to what Chad had to say.
Let's talk about it. First, I want to say, God bless you, and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion. But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free. To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me. The main point was my qualifications. I'll be honest with you. I've been a professional fighter for almost 10 years. I've traveled the world eating food. I've cut weight from anywhere from 170 pounds to 135 pounds. And food is one of the most important things when it comes to cutting weight. So at the end of the day, I'm just a foodie. I agree with you. I've been blessed enough to be in this position. But then in return, I want to ask you, what are your qualifications to have this firm stance on this topic? Because to me, this seems like your first time ever seeing me. And if it's not, again, I have another question. Why is this your first time speaking on me? We've been blessed enough to raise over $40,000 for a restaurant owner who has cancer. We've been blessed enough to be used as a vessel to retire a teacher in less than 24 hours. We've been blessed enough to be a part of keeping multiple restaurants doors open. And all of this within the span of 10 months. I want to be very clear. That question isn't to say you or anybody else should know who I am. I simply ask, if this isn't your first time seeing me, what stopped you from talking about the positive things we've been able to do? Specifically to the community that you are worried about us negatively affecting. And to your point, that's without any form of qualifications. And let's be honest, I think one of the main reasons of why we're here is because I'm relatable. I'm a customer like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I don't take anything from these restaurants. No matter how much business comes from any post I make, I don't take any money. If I was to go to school and get all of the qualifications and start talking in big words that not a lot of people understand, would they still come out and wait in 4-hour lines? I don't believe so. I'm a normal person just like you. So again, you are completely entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is that you should have done a lot more research before you made this firm stance, especially on a platform like yours. I don't go anywhere and just give my unsolicited opinion. And you said I should only give positive reviews. The reason I don't believe that it work, because it'd be inauthentic. And hypothetically, if I was to be inauthentic and you waited in a 3-hour wait time and you got to the front and the food was trash, who you gonna be mad at? The restaurant owner or me? Those 600 people who waited in line, they're gonna all make videos and say I'm a fraud, say I lied. And that 4-hour line only gonna be there at one time because everybody gonna say the food is trash. Simply just to spite me, not even a restaurant themselves. But if it's a restaurant where the people really put their time and their effort into, that 4-hour wait time is gonna be 4 hours the next day, and the next day, and the next day. God willingly, of course. Again, I'm gonna be very clear. I think you are completely entitled to your opinion, just like I am. 99% of my videos have ended very positively.
Charge my car for $26.73. That's what she said she made when it says today. Instead of crying, you need to rejoice.
Their total sales was $2,200 for the day.
Y'all, look at the impact of Keith Lee. Look at these cars lined up. Y'all, this area is always empty.
Oh, you got these people attention now? Mm-hmm. Talk that talk, George.
So to make the narrative that all I do is tear down businesses is completely false. This is my last time speaking on anything that has to do with Atlanta. I want to get back to the fun, get back to eating, get back to touring, get back to going to good restaurants. I just want to eat food and mind my business like I always have. And this last week, I've heard a lot of questions like, why him? A bunch of people eat food. Why is him and his family so successful? Why do y'all pay attention to what him and his family say? And to that, I simply ask, why not? God bless you. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
Shout out to Keith Lee for that classy clapback. Right, so Keith Lee, he know how to clap back without, cursing or anything like that. So I really appreciate his response to Chad or whatnot. And it's so crazy that I saw a video of Chad going live with his daughter, and Chad's daughter was like, listen, there is no Keith Lee slander right here. You're going to have to hold up now, pump your brakes when it comes to Keith Lee, because Keith Lee is that dude. Keith Lee is doing positive things. And so he had to come back and say, you know, I got to take back what I said, because my daughter said, hey, listen, no Keith Lee slander. And it's no Keith Lee slander, okay? No Keith Lee slander. And so what do y'all think about Chad coming out and basically trying to put down Keith Lee without even knowing the facts, without even doing his research on Keith Lee? Y'all know what I gotta do. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Share this video, like this video. And y'all know what I gotta do. Stay tuned for the next video. Bye.